And here is the Artist's Almanac for March 4th, 2018. It's the birthday of Antonio Vivaldi, born on this day in Venice, Italy in 1678. Vivaldi suffered from ill health from a very early age. One of his symptoms, strezzetta di petto, tightness of the chest, has been interpreted as a form of asthma. This didn't prevent him, however, from learning to play the violin, composing, or taking part in musical activities, although it did stop him from playing wind instruments. In 1693, at the age of 15, he began studying to become a priest, and was ordained in 1703 at the age of 25, and was given the nickname the Red Priest as a nod to his shock of red hair. In September of the same year, Vivaldi became violin master at the Devout Hospital of Mercy orphanage in Venice. While Vivaldi is most famous as a composer, he was regarded as an exceptional technical violinist as well, and soon was the most proficient violinist in Venice. Over the next 30 years, he composed most of his major works while working at the orphanage. There were 4 similar institutions in Venice as well. Their purpose was to give shelter and education to children who were abandoned or orphaned, or whose families could not support them, and were financed by funds provided by the Republic. The boys learned a trade and had to leave when they reached the age of 15. The girls received a musical education, and the most talented among them stayed and became members of the hospital's renowned orchestra and choir. Shortly after Vivaldi's appointment, the orphans began to gain appreciation and esteem abroad as well, and Vivaldi wrote concerti, cantatas, and sacred vocal music for them. These sacred works, which number over 60, are varied. They include solo motets and large-scale choral works for soloists, double chorus, and orchestra. In 1704, the position of teacher of viola all'inglese was added to his duties as violin instructor. The position of maestro di coro, which was at one time filled by Vivaldi as well, required a lot of time and work. He had to compose an oratorio or concerto at every feast and teach the orphans both music theory and how to play certain instruments. In February of 1711, Vivaldi and his father traveled to Brescia, where his setting of the Stabat Mater was played as a part of a religious festival. The work seems to have been written in haste. The string parts are simple, the music of the first 3 movements is repeated in the next 3, and not all the text is set. Nevertheless, perhaps in part because of the forced essentiality of the music, the work is considered to be one of his early masterpieces. In 1718, Vivaldi was offered a prestigious new position as Maestro di Cappella of the court of Prince Philip of Hesse-Darmstadt, governor of Mantua, in the northwest of Italy. During this period, Vivaldi wrote his most well-known and beloved work, The 4 Seasons. The inspiration for the 4 concerti was most likely the countryside around Mantua. They were a revolution in musical conception. In them, Vivaldi represented flowing creeks, singing birds of different species, each specifically characterized, barking dogs, buzzing mosquitoes, crying shepherds, storms, drunken dancers, silent nights, hunting parties from both the hunter's and the prey's point of view, frozen landscapes, ice-skating children, and warming winter fires. Each concerto is associated with a sonnet, written most likely by Vivaldi himself, describing the scenes depicted in the music. Like many composers of the time, Vivaldi faced financial difficulties in his later years. His compositions were no longer held in such high esteem as they had once been in Venice. Changing musical tastes quickly made them outmoded. In response, Vivaldi chose to sell off sizable numbers of his manuscripts for almost nothing, to finance his migration to Vienna, where he'd hoped to take up the position of a composer in the imperial court. However, shortly after his arrival in Vienna, Charles VI died, leaving Vivaldi without any royal protection or a steady source of income. Shortly thereafter, Vivaldi himself became impoverished and died during the night of July 28, 1741, of internal infection in a house owned by the widow of a Viennese saddlemaker. He was 63 years old. Thanks for listening. Be kind, do good work, and until next time.